Never hurts to watch. So I'm watching the YM. You know what I will do is put a reverse continue on the YM, but I don't anticipate much of a move at all from Citibank. We've tried them in the past. All right, so just watching. I'm here early. I assume you can hear me. Testing one, two, yes. Can you hear me, TJ? Okay, Frank, thanks. I do think gold is going to break the high. I took a little scalp when I first got here. It didn't quite get to the high. I took a scalp right there at 720 something. Um, Calvin, what do you mean? What do you mean? Where'd you move him from? From what? You had some of those,
At 8 a.m. Eastern Time, we
what
get
do you call
Citi's
it?
earnings, estimated EPS at $1.64, estimated revenue at $20.42 billion.
What do you mean you moved him? Why would you move to Rhythmic? Right, Project X. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't remember what it was called. Did they give a reason why? Probably not. None of my mice feel good on this computer. It's got to be the computer. I've hated this computer from the day I got it. I've tried so many different mice pads, just using this desktop. Maybe I'll have to go wired. I hate wired. Is Top Step still around? They don't advertise. They don't have sales. They must be serious. The last time I used Top Step, the data feed would go short when I took a long, and they didn't answer any of
According
my
to the New
tech
York
support
Times, Kashkari sees
emails.
Trump's Fed
Not a one.
actions about monetary
So I
policy.
had to leave. I couldn't get an answer. I would take just a simple scalp short, and the data would go long. The trade would go long. They were one of
New
the
York
first.
Times, again, Kashkari saying that Powell explained the matter accurately. And according to a key Republican, Powell may not testify before Congress in February. So that's Republican Hill commenting on Powell. And Kashkari doesn't see an impetus to cut in January.
Now, the only thing about that VWAP, TJ, is the YM is very negative. So it might be better to go for the low of day. Look
Shortly
at gold, you
expecting
son of a
Citi's
gun.
earnings.
Son of a gun.
Kashkari sees the economy showing resilience.
Son of a dog. Gold is a son of a dog. Big pop in volume there on gold. 8
Secured overnight
o'clock.
financing rate
Before 8.
3.65% January 13th.
Hey,
Versus
that was that
3.64%
759
January
trade,
12th.
Nitin. There you go. That was your 759 trade on gold. Okay, Citibank. Are they going to come out on time?
OPEC says OPEC Plus crude output averaged 42.83 million barrels per day in December, down 238,000 barrels per day from November. OPEC sees 2027 global oil demand growth of 1.34 million barrels per day in the first 2027 forecast in the monthly report.
Slob.
OPEC leaves 2026 global oil demand growth forecast at 1.38 million barrels per day in the monthly report.
I think the earnings just came out and it moved like 9 ticks. I should have used
Seeing Citi earnings coming through. EPS at
Thinkorswim. Yeah, that was the
$1.19.
earnings.
That's a miss on
You could see
estimates
that
of $1.64.
they don't move the market.
Revenue
Citibank just doesn't
$19.87
move the
billion.
market. Okay,
Miss on estimates of
that's what I wanted to
$20.42
see.
billion. Total loans
I don't think the U.S.
$752
is
billion.
buying Greenland.
Beat
We're
an
going to
estimates
buy
of
mineral. We already have.
$739.56
It's
billion.
going to be about mineral
Banking revenue
rights.
$2.21
They'll
billion.
grant us
Beat an
the
estimates of
mineral
$2 billion.
rights,
Markets revenue
and we'll share the
$4.54
profits
billion.
with them.
Beat an
It's
estimates
just
of
not that big a deal.
$4.45
When you
billion.
have someone mentally
Operating
ill trying
expense
to do things,
$13.84
it
billion.
creates chaos.
U.S. personal banking revenue $5.29 billion. A miss on estimates of
This
$5.31
whole
billion.
situation is not going to end
Investment
well.
banking revenue $1.27 billion.
It's
Wealth
not going to
revenue
end well.
$2.13 billion. Miss on estimates of $2.2 billion. FICC
All right,
sales and
let's
trading
start
revenue
this room.
$3.46 billion. Beaten estimates of $3.29 billion. Equities sales and trading revenue
No move at
$1.08
all
billion.
on
Miss on
Citibank
estimates of
earnings.
$1.16 billion.
You could see that
So
gold
Citi
had a
CEO says
759
2025 was a
move.
year of significant
That's kind of
progress.
interesting.
We commit to reach target of 10 to 11%
Silver's
ROTCE for
not easy to
2026.
trade, is it?
We enter 2026 with visible momentum across the firm, and we're committed to
I
reaching our
don't think
target of
silver's
10
easy
to
to trade
11%
from what I'm seeing.
ROTCE. Citigroup fourth quarter total cost of credit $2.22 billion. Miss on estimates of
Nitin's been
$2.54
doing
billion.
well with it.
See 2026
Nitin, you've been doing
NIIX
well with
markets
silver.
up 5 to 6%
What's your
year on year.
bracket on those early morning trades? That's the tricky part, it seems, with silver. The bracket, you're
And
using an
Kashkari to the New
11.
York Times says years
Okay.
of elevated inflation is very concerning.
All right, everybody. Let's talk about why we're here and how we have another report that's difficult. This is not an easy report. This is an inconsistent report. Um, it's a lot of risk to trade it with a trap trade on gold, but that's what I'm doing. But there's a big possibility we won't even get a fill. When you look at the size of the traps, it's a very, very big fill. Very big fill. So, bear with me 1 second, folks. It's an iced coffee morning. There was a gigantic breach of Instagram, and I heard there was a big DoorDash breach, and they've been hiding it. And they're hiding it. Has anyone heard of a DoorDash breach? Hackers stole IDs. All right, let's look at the DMM. Let me start the video properly. Okay, welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus. We're here for PPI and retail sales. My name is Lee Goldstein, the Trading Director for 10-Minute Trades. Please remember, I'm not a financial advisor. All the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Now, we've traded PPI with retail before, and it often is a trap. It's not always a trap, and we have a very big setup today because gold is so volatile these
Seeing Citi
days.
shares down 0.7% pre-market after lower Q4 profit.
So let's see what we got on the DMM.
Citi sees tangible benefits from AI deployment.
The previous trap to today was smaller. We've been using 55 and 70, 40, 35 and 60. Today, I'm using a trap and my tiers are 75 and 100. And that's because we've got both reports. We have retail and PPI. Both of them have been traps. Both of them have been traps. I'm going to trade position 1 as a 1, position 2 as a 1. But don't kid yourself. This could be fairly risky. I'm going to
Kashkari says
trigger
on
at
rates and
9,
inflation said it's entirely
59,
possible that we're sitting here well
55,
above our target for 2 or 3 more years.
75 and 100 on the tiers. Going to label it trap GC, and I'll trade it in my number 32, 33, the account I was using yesterday that we made. I think we made about $400 yesterday morning. I don't particularly love any of the instruments on these reports, Roz, because of the inconsistency. That's the problem. RTY seems to whip less than YM or MNQ. That's what we like about the RTY. You know, you could trade one contract, go for a 40 target, and use if the market moves. But this is a difficult report. Honestly, it's a difficult report. Um, if I didn't have prop accounts, I probably wouldn't trade it. I would not trade it with cash. You could get a decent bond move on this report. I'd use a bracket of 15 on bonds. So on my gold trap, 950, 955, position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. Tiers of 75 and 100. That means you got to have a 75 tick move to get filled. And it is the kind of report that you can get 100 tick moves. But I think the odds are excellent that we will not get a fill. I think that is very probable that it won't move that much. But I'm going to try it. And I'm also going to put on a reverse continue. Change the breakout to reverse continue. One position, go for a 30 tick target, go for a 40 target, 35 tick stop. Same account, number 33, and we'll label it GC, reverse continue, apply it and OK it, and make sure we're putting it on the right account. And darn, am I sorry I didn't take the gold reversal. Look at that beautiful. It was not a perfect aftershock signal. It was not as smooth as usual. Not as smooth as usual. The 1 minute might have been smoother this morning. It was. The 1 minute on gold this morning was a little bit smoother on the signal. You would have gotten the signal. It might not have given us a signal right away because the candles were green. But I'll tell you, the momentum bars were lower. So I think there would have been a signal in this area here where my cursor is. I'll go over that for you, Roz. I might trade it that way. I might trade it that way. So I'll tell you. So let's just finish up our gold. Gold is a trap. Go over the trap trade one more time. So looking at the strategy, highlight the trap. We have position size 1 is a 1, position size 2 is a 1. 9:59, 8, what am I doing with the time? 8:29:55. This is not a 10 o'clock report. Knitting, right, Frank? What was I doing there? 8:29:55. It's not a 10 o'clock report. 8:29:55. The stop 25. Tier 1 is 75 ticks. Tier 2 is 100. So you have a big zone of safety. You have to have a 126 tick move to get stopped right away. I don't think we're going to get that. 8:29:55 on the trigger. apply it, okay it, and then we have a reverse continue as well set up on gold. And unfortunately, we missed the reversal, the 8 o'clock reversal. Now, on RTY, I would also put a reverse continue on the chart. Change the breakout to a reverse continuation. And we'll do a target of 30 and a stop of 40. This is just discretionary. Should it go in one direction after the news, and we'll label it RTY reverse continue. And I'll trade this in 31. I hope I can trade it in 31. So I'll apply that and okay it. Put it on 31.
Order submitted.
I should be able to trade
Order submitted.
this account with no problems.
Order cancelled. Order cancelled.
All right, and then we have a breakout. So we have the reverse continue. And then we have our breakout. All right, news trader, breakout, 829.58 on the trigger. Bracket is 30. So if you were going to trade one contract, position one is a 1, target I would use would be 40. If the market moves 30 ticks in my favor, I would move the stop to break even plus 25. That's what I would do. You could even do it if you want to try to be a little less aggressive. You could do 25 and 20. If the market moves 25, move my stop to break even plus 20. But I'll trade the both positions. We have a target of 15 and 40. And the stop is 60.
According to officials citing sources here, US is withdrawing some personnel from major US bases in the Middle East as a precaution given elevated regional tensions. Again, that's a US official saying US is withdrawing some personnel from major US bases in the Middle East as a precaution given elevated regional tensions, being cited by sources here.
829.58, bracket of 30. Position 1 is a 1, position 2 is a 1. Target 1 is 15, target 2 is 40. The stop is 60. I'm going to set the time to 0 for a minute just to look at the width of the bracket while everything is on sim. I'm going to label it BRK RTY. Put the charts on sim.
Order submitted.
Shrink it down a little bit. You have a very interesting magnet
Order canceled.
on the RTY. On the strategy, I'm going to get rid of the vertical line. On the breakout, show
Bank America
vertical
shares
line on
reverse course
entry,
pre-market, last down
uncheck it,
1.1%.
put the time back. 8:29:58. All right, and our breakout is set up.
French Foreign Minister Barrot says we're studying possibility of sending Eutelsat terminals to Iran.
Now, I did figure out how to use the investing.com. I'll show you. Remember, they've in their infinite wisdom, they've changed the formatting of their calendar. Why in heaven's name they would change a good thing into a bad thing is absolutely beyond me. But they've taken what was a perfect situation, and you could see that mine looks a lot better than it did yesterday. It almost looks the way it used to look when we first, before they made the change. You just can't shrink it as much as I would like. If you leave it wide and you go to the settings and oh no, I apologize. The settings are in the browser. If you zoom your browser down, lower the zoom on Edge, go to zoom, and I put zoom on 80%, and it almost works the way it used to work. Not quite as good. It's just not as good, unfortunately. But it'll have to do.
According to a US official, the US is withdrawing.
Today I'm going to keep it off our charts, which is what I hate. That's what's upsetting about the fact that they changed it. Now, what's interesting, in particular on the RTY, is if the news is good, the high of day magnet looks pretty interesting, and the VWAP looks pretty
Just a
interesting
reminder,
also.
at the bottom of the hour, we get the US PPI data. Forecast for the year-on-year is 2.7%,
I think that
unchanged
what's
from
going to
the
happen
prior, with a
on
range of
gold is we're not going
3.1%
to
to
get a fill.
2.5%.
That's my
PPI
guess.
month-to-month forecast to
And I
0.2%,
think the data is going to
prior
be
0.3%,
fake,
with a range of
and it's going to
0.4%
be
to
good
0.1%.
PPI
Core
numbers
PPI
because they're
year-on-year
faking the numbers.
forecast 2.7%, prior 2.6%,
They're faking the
with a
news
range
now,
of 3% to
which
2.4%.
really makes no
Core
difference to
PPI
us
month-to-month
as long as we
forecast
get a
to
move.
0.2%, prior
I care
0.1%,
if I
with
believe the news
with
is
a
fake,
range
but for trading purposes,
with a range of
all
0.4%
we
to
want is the
0.1%.
news to be different than
We
what's
also get the
expected.
retail sales
That's
data
what we
for
prefer.
November as well. Forecast for retail sales month to
So
month
this is a
0.5%,
pretty
prior
important.
0%, with a range of
It's
0.8%
not,
to
what? It's a
0.2%.
delayed
And core retail
retail
sales month to
report.
month
Also,
forecast
it's
to
November.
0.4%, unchanged from the prior.
Why isn't it December's retail
Trump
report?
just
Looks like it's
commenting on Truth
November.
Social here, saying, "Tell Denmark to get them out of here now. Two dog slates won't do it. Only the US can." Saying Danish intel warned last year about Russian and Chinese military goals towards Greenland and the Arctic. So again, this is Trump. Looks like so he's making his own comment here. is saying, tell Denmark to get them out of here now. Two dogs' clothes won't do it, only the US can. Referring to an article that Danish intel warned last year about Russian and Chinese military goals towards Greenland and Arctic.
I'm just listening to the news, folks, and the idiotic comments that someone's making just never ends. I don't know how much more people are going to be able to take, in all seriousness. All right. So we've got 7 minutes. In November, retail sales and PPI traded together. Here's a replay of retail sales. We had YM on the right. It was not a very dramatic move. And we were looking at the euro. I was testing the euro in October. Not a very interesting move on either. So we've had very, very inconsistent responses to this news. There's been huge moves and there's been very small moves. And that's one of the difficulties. That's what makes it an inconsistent report. I just want to look at Forex Factory. So Forex Factory, you could see on PPI.
Fine, Mr. Coyote, with the PPI data for November forecast year-on-year,
We're
2.7%
delayed
unchanged from
34
prior.
days,
Core
and there's going to
PPI
be
year-on-year
two
forecast 2.7%
simultaneous
prior, 2.6%.
releases. Okay,
Core PPI month-to-month
they're
forecast
releasing
0.2% prior, 0.3%. US core PPI month-to-month
the
forecast
last
0.2%
two
prior, 0.1%. US
pieces of
retail sales
data. So
month-to-month
this is
forecast 0.5%
unprecedented.
prior,
The way this
0%.
data is being
Seeing here,
released, this is
City
not
shares
normal.
erase early decline to
And
trade
I
higher by
believe the same thing
1.2%.
is true.
We also get the US core retail sales month-to-month
No,
forecast
retail was
0.4%
delayed
unchanged from
28
prior.
days.
US current
28
account
days.
forecast minus 238
But
billion,
there
prior
was a
minus
December
251.3 billion,
retail report.
and US retail sales year-on-year
All
prior
right.
3.47%.
But PPI, there was no December, and we're getting a double release. Everybody good? Good morning, Chantal. So we've got 3.5 minutes to the news. And we are streaming on YouTube. Wow. So I'm looking for an AI video editor. Oh man, my RTY is on SIM. Nobody noticed. Whatever happened to the good old days? People in the trade room used to catch my mistakes. Nobody catches my mistakes anymore. I'm just looking at ZF. I just want to watch ZF also. No trade or anything. Just watching the instrument. All right. 15 and 40, Arthur. 15 and 40. No, Bullnox on the trap. Not really expecting a fill. And Bullnox on the RTY. And
1 minute
not
ago now, leader with
super
PPI year on
confident
year.
we'll have a great move on anything on this report. This is not one of my favorite reports to trade anymore. I think it's just been very inconsistent. Right, that means it'll be a huge winner. We are on YouTube this morning, Arthur. I am on YouTube. Good morning. 2 people joining us on YouTube. Big audiences we're pulling in. I'm getting an AI program to try to get our YouTube stuff working. I don't know. We're
10
not getting
seconds.
any views. It's very frustrating. We're not getting people to come to the streams.
Order submitted.
All right, here's our trap. All right, there's the
3%,
move.
3% higher than forecast.
Not a
for
very
2
big
spots,
move.
7%.
Not a very
Core
big move.
PPI year on year, 3%. 3%
I
higher
would.
than forecast of 2 spots, 7%. Core PPI month on month, 0%, 0% lower than
Retail
forecast of
sales are
0.2%.
good.
Order canceled.
US PPI month
Oh,
on
look
month,
at gold. It got
0.2%,
filled.
0.2% as expected.
Order filled.
I took a
You're seeing
$500
US
trade
retail sales
on
month
gold.
month coming
It
in at
filled,
0.6% higher than
and I
forecast
just
of 0.5%. Year's current
hit the
account
close button
minus
way too fast.
226.4 billion.
RTY, I don't want to be filled
238
on
billion.
this.
Just waiting on the US
I
retail
don't
sales
want to be
year-on-year data.
filled.
Not really much of a
Order
reaction from the
canceled.
All
markets.
right?
With the
I'm
back
not
of
that
the PPI
interested
data.
in
Seeing prior
RTY
revisions
on
coming
that.
through now. The retail sales month-to-month prior revised
But
to minus
very nice
0.1% from the
trap.
original prior of 0%.
Very nice
And core
trap.
retail sales month-to-month prior revised to
500
0.2%
bucks.
from the original prior of
500 would have
0.4%.
been more
There's
if I
current
just
account
let it
prior
trade.
seen prior revised to 200
Would have been
to
more.
minus 249.2 billion.
Because it
The
looks like
original
gold
prior
wants
minus
to go test the high.
251.3 billion.
It really looks like gold wants to test the high. Do I want to give the money back
French Prime Minister
trading
says
that? I
Trump's
don't think
comments on
so.
Greenland should
I
be
don't
taken
think so.
seriously. So it's just saying here that the
Now,
stock index
the
features a lot of change
PPI
after economic data.
looks like it's as expected. As expected. That's what it's looking like. As expected. Not up, not down. And retail is good. Who knows about retail? I mean, you think retail sales are good? I don't. There's nobody in the stores. Nobody. RTY would not have filled. All right. It didn't fill. So there was not a big burst. I did not want to get filled at the low. So I canceled the RTY. Did anybody trade anything else? RTY is canceled. All right. Not the end of the world.
We have posted out the
Usually
PPI
there's
report
someone
and
out
US
there.
retail sales
Bonds
November report on
didn't really
333
do
through.
much. Not enough to make it worthwhile, I don't think. Four measly little ticks on ZF. Not worth trading on ZF. All right. No trade.
So US retail sales
Anyone?
year on year
No one
coming out at
traded?
3.3%,
Not very
compared to prior
exciting. Not very
3.47%.
exciting. Well,
Also,
actually, it
just
was
seeing here,
exciting for
spot gold
gold.
holding
Let's look at
gains
the
after
trap.
US economic data.
Let's look at the
Last
trap
up
trade.
0.9%.
We have a lot of dying malls where I live. A lot of dying malls. Here's the news. So you got retail sales up 0.1 month over month and core and regular. PPI November is the same. All right. Seems pretty much the same. And don't forget, we do have existing home sales this morning, and I will be trading that. All right. I will be trading
Germany's
that.
10-year government bond yield little changed after US data, last down 0.5 basis points at about 2.81%.
But I despise what they've done. They've ruined, they've absolutely ruined the calendar. Even with the Zoom,
US current account Q3
it's not,
2025 report is also out on
it's really a pain
333
in
as
the
well.
butt. It's a massive pain in the butt. So investing.com, good job ruining the calendar. So I got to find another calendar. It's unbearable to use. Anytime you have to spend this kind of time on something, it's a waste, right? You follow me? That's the waste. I was surprised that that trap trade worked. That was big. Let's take a look at the video real quick before we look at oil. Let me just save it. We've got PPI, retail, today's date. Let's take a quick look because we used very big tiers. 75 and 100. Folks, that's huge tiers, okay? It's huge. Hey, if you can hear me, you should be able to hear me. Looking at, so we'll go right to the trade. If you look at this setup, 75 and 100 on the tiers, okay? Stop of 25. With a trap trade, you want to give it a minute, generally, at least, to fill. It moved 75 ticks. 75 ticks. That's our fill. 10 seconds. It's at the VWAP. 15 seconds. It's bursting. It bursts, almost hit our second target, which would have been awesome. I saw like 700 bucks in profit. I hit the close button like a baby instead of letting it trade like a grown-up. I should have let it trade like a grown-up and just managed the trade properly, and it would be a $700 profit instead of 500. But every now and then, psychology gets even me. And my psychology, which is a polite way of saying I got scared because I didn't want to get stopped, so I exited by hitting the close instead of just manage the trade like a grown-up. That's what I should have done. But it was easy, easy. Well, it just gives you a random fill, Arthur. It's a random fill when you are moving your targets and doing it properly. You know, you have the control over getting more profit if it's going in your direction. So hitting the close, it's not the smartest way to exit. If a trade is out of control, If a trade is out of control, then sometimes the close button is acceptable, but you should never make a habit of it. Yes, it's a panic button. It should never be a habit. It should not be a habit. That's my opinion. All right. So anyway, a nice profit, 490. Nice profit on gold. RTY didn't really move much. Let's look at MNQ. I mean, it moved, but not enough. MNQ looks like it was a better move. All right. Now, on a 1 minute, I'm not saying it was a perfect move. I don't know if it went up first or not. Not counting the wicks, it had a 100-tick move on the MNQ. Let's say it popped up first, just for fun. $25 ticks. So we would have survived an MNQ bracket. All right. I'm going to heat my coffee. I want to thank everyone on YouTube. We're doing a short stream on YouTube today. That's our stream on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. You watched a $490 profitable trap trade. So come and join us tomorrow, and we'll see everybody on YouTube tomorrow. So thank you for joining us.